Hello my friends, welcome back to Breaking Bricks. I'm your host Neil. This week is week 1 of my Sith temple on Malicore. You know, this temple can be seen in Twilight of the Apprentice episodes 1 and 2, and that is seen Rebels season 2 episodes 21 and 22. Took me a minute to recall it all, but I got there. But anyway, that's where you can check out this temple, and this is what we're going to build this week. It is a hero build. We're going to have Kanan, Ezra, Ahsoka, Inquisitors, and the man himself, Vader. I don't get to pull him out too often, and it's probably been about 2.5 years, almost 3 years since I pulled him out and did Vader's castle. So until that point, you know, how often do you get to use Vader? So this build will definitely have Vader, and he will get his face mask cracked open by Ahsoka, of course. It's a great scene. I have to put it in this build. In fact, you know, you're going to be able to see that scene from all sides of the build, hopefully. So we just got to get started. We're going to start with our infrastructure, our base. We have to start getting that together. And I'm going to show you some of my tricks and to the little bit of trade that I have in this, and show you what I'm doing and how I get it to go back together so quickly and so easily. So hopefully in the end that's what's going to happen. We're going to take this apart, we're going to move it. One of the things I have to consider, and you probably should too if you want to take this out and do any kind of brick conventions, is how are you going to get it there? How are you going to get it through the door? Are you building this in a garage? You have a big door, you can put it in the back of a truck, one table on wheels, wow, there you go. Or do you have to carry it through a man door like me, and you know, you have smaller types of vehicles you have to put it in, so it has to come apart, go in sections, you have to pack it in there. And then I build racks into the car to help with some of the transport with that. So I digress with that. All right, I want to talk about this. I need some inspiration. There's no brick conventions going on here at all this summer. So I'll tell you what, why don't you send me pictures, and I have an email address right down below in the description, of your builds. What are you working on? I would love to see it. You know, of course, include who you are and what the build is about, and I will put it on the channel and we will check it out together as a group. Hopefully we get to see some fantastic builds in the future with that. But anyway, let's get into this build. All right, welcome back my friends. You know, this week we are going to start the big temple build. This is a Sith temple on Malicore. You can see it for yourself. Rebels towards the end of season 2, I believe, is where it's at. Kanan and Ezra with Ahsoka travel to Malicore. Ezra comes across Maul. They enter the temple. We're not going to do the inside of the temple. This is strictly an outside thing, simply because of what I have here in the box. Now, I've been no stranger to using smoke machines, and I've been buying these small kind of Halloween type of deals for these builds, and I've done the last 2 builds with a smoke machine, but this time we are using a smoke machine, but it's different from this one. That is what's in the box. What makes it different is the fact that instead of the fog shooting out of the front, okay, to fill a room like a traditional smoke machine does, these are actually the type of smoke machines that I was using on stage during my band days. And we call these geysers. So this is a geyser, the smallest one that they make, because honestly you don't need anything huge. We were buying the big boys, which were about $450 each for the stage, and we had 2. This will sit into the build. It has an LED effect as well. You can actually mount this onto a stand and aim it if you choose to, but the main purpose of this is to shoot the smoke up. And with the lights built into it, it will illuminate it. I can actually change the color of that to any color I want because it's an LED system. But we're going to go with white, just simply because when the temple opens and that big energy beam shoots out, that's what this is going to represent. The smoke coming out with the light, I'm hoping it looks phenomenal. We're not positive exactly how it's going to look until we fire this up, and we will be doing that, but we want to start putting together the plates. Now, originally the temple, I was going to put it on 9 plates with an additional 3 that I might throw on for the front of it. I have not changed my mind on that. The temple is going on 9 plates, but the front 3 is going going to be a battle scene between the heroes and the inquisitors. So we are going to do 12 plates. I've already got them here on the table. We just need to spread them out and start putting them together. So this week we're going to start working with the base, because without the base it has to be strong. It's what's going to allow us to take this from this room and take it to Chicago. And hopefully, I think Brick Fair or something like that, Brick Fan, I'm not too positive, I got to look into it. My aunt in Tennessee was talking about it being there in Chicago. I don't think, or Tennessee, my aunt in Tennessee, not Chicago. I got Chicago on the brain, can you tell? But my aunt tells me that they're going to be there in October. I do believe the 11th and 12th. I am not going to be ready to have a build ready for anything like that. Not to mention that is a long week. That's 5 days right there. It's going to take me a day to get down there, and then a day to set up, and then the 2-day convention, and then coming home the day after that. Just because, you know, that's a 9-hour trip by car. And I only know that because I just did it. Went down and hung out with her for a few days, her and my uncle. But anyway, let's get started on this build. All right, we're going to start sewing these sections together. We're going to make 6 sections. 12 plates altogether, which will make 6 sections. This way everything stays kind of even. 9 is an oddball number. So I'm starting off with flats, and then I put a block in. I've got a measuring stick that tells me how tall the outside is going to be, so I know exactly how tall to build it consistently throughout the whole bottom of the build. Now these are just bases. This is what we're going to build our build off of. And of course I'm going to color code them. That way whoever's helping me put these things back together when we go to Chicago will have an easier time of sliding these things in place. Of course I've got a couple little secrets for making sure these things go together quite nicely and stay together. They lock in place. Most of the time that even helps me with a warp tape. Brickfest Live in Cleveland had warp tables. Just years of being used in conventions. So I try to think about those kind of things. So with the base plates being strong, they slide into place. It gets to, over time, you start to develop these little tricks. All right, so we got our geyser in place. That is exactly the center of where the center of the temple will be. And we're going to start adding blocks in place and putting the snot bricks in place so we can do that on the sides, which helps lock it all together. Now building large can be quite time-consuming and a bit monotonous, but the payoff in the end is worth it, at least in my opinion. To me, I really do enjoy building these large builds. I like seeing the whole picture rather than a half a picture or a tiny little scene of the picture. Now I'm going to use yellow on the inside here for support until I run out. And I am going to use blue on the other side. That way we know what 3 sections go together with what 3 sections. I am using Technic bricks as well. I will show you at the end what I'm referring to. The little blocks with holes. That way I can use the blue pin, which is one side round and the other side. All right, my friends, we've taken it as far as we can take it this week. It doesn't look like we've gotten a lot done, but in reality we have. We are building on a very large scale here, so this gets to be a little bit more monotonous here when we're doing this. But this is our infrastructure. We're building what we're going to build on. On top of that, we found placement for our geyser. how all this goes together, I'm going to show you what my secret is of putting all this together and keeping it together and getting it moved. I need to be able to move it through a man door. So these need to come apart. They are in 6 sections, and we are working on them in 6 sections. So let's go ahead and take an up-close look at how I did it. All right, as you can see, it's pretty simple so far. I'm using flats on the bottom there, as you can see, to kind of give it its extra grip. And I'm also using snot on the outside to kind of cover up those holes. One question I will be asked later is it solid? Right here, you're going to find out if it is or not. As you can see, it's not going to be, but it will be strong. Right now, we still can't lift a section because it's still pretty weak. It bends, and I expect it to right now. And we have our placement for our geyser as well, right in the center of the temple. 9 sections will be the temple. It will be huge, I'm hoping. I'm thinking it will be. And this will be the battlefront to the entrance of the inside of the temple. Now, I'm using Technic pins in here, in pieces, to just kind of line it up. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, it just kind of lines them up. Now I can slide them around together as one, and then that one just kind of lines up. And as you can see, I got free and total movement, and they'll come apart pretty easy. I'll use tile snaps on the sides to kind of connect them and keep them locked in place. And right here is my measure stick. I like to use that to tell me exactly how I'm doing these outside. And that's how I get it all together. And we'll be finishing that up next time. And then we'll start our center of supports and start putting our ground surface in, our building surface. In this way, I can do craters, I can do pretty much anything I want. Depth-wise, so like a bomb crater should be deep in the ground, and I can pull that off with these. We also need to run wire for our electrical. That is yet to come. So as you can see, we've got a lot done, but it doesn't look like much. But still, we got a lot done, but we got a lot more to go. You know, the temple, because it's going to be on these 9 squares, I'm expecting it to be, you know, about yay tall. Maybe a little taller, maybe a little shorter, but right around in here somewhere, if not a little taller. And of course, you know, when you're putting this kind of stuff together, you got to think about your logistic team. And of course, you know, I've got a crew of people coming with me to help me with this, to help me with the show, to do whatever we need to get done, and just have a lot of fun. Otherwise, let's talk everything else. If you like what you saw here today, go ahead and hit that like button. Suggest this kind of content to anybody who might be into it. Of course, if you got a good idea for this build, maybe a future build, or have a question about something in Lego or a past build, put that in the questions down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And of course, we cannot grow here as a family unless you smash that subscribe button. It takes you a mere half a second, but for me it means an awful lot. I will see you here next time on Bricking Bricks.